I know that half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. That's a phrase that is attributed to Henry Ford, and of course, depending on who you talk to, it's attributed to a number of other people as well. Needless to say, it's a phrase within the marketing and advertising business that has been sort of like developed over years and believed by a number of people. Now, my question to you is, do you know if your advertising spend is wasted? There's another way that phrase is repeated quite often, and I think misquoted quite often, and that is half my advertising works and half doesn't. I just don't know which half. So, where do you stand in that? Now, how do you decide where you spend your advertising spend? And I know it's easy to say, right, well, I'll just give it to a lead generating company, and then I know I'm going to get some leads from it. I know I'm going to get some work from it. I know that if I give it to one of these lead generating organizations, then I don't have to worry about creating adverts that work or attract the right people to me. And unfortunately, what happens there is you give your money to a lead generating company, whether that's on an annual subscription or a monthly subscription, or whether it's paying for the actual lead itself. And then what happens is that lead gets given to 5, 6, sometimes up to 10 other electricians in your area. And that's assuming that it's a valid lead, because quite often these leads are literally price searchers or somebody who just thought that maybe they'd get a quote for, right? You've come across that, you've had that, I'm sure you have. So some people think, even though that happens, that's a safe bet. But the reality is if you're doing your own marketing, handling your own advertising and not depending on lead generating organizations, and you put in place some very simple metrics in order to track your advertising. And in this instance, very simply, there are other ways of doing it, but a tracking number, what we call a geo number, or a tracking URL, then you get a better idea of where your advertising spend is working for you. And of course, then there's the whole thing of figuring out what's working, what's not working, tweaking what's working to make it better, and stop spending money on what is working. I had an incident a number of years ago with one of our early members, where they were about to give up on a particular magazine ad because, inverted commas, they thought it wasn't providing any work. And of course, when we were able to dig down into it and dig down into the tracking numbers, we discovered that that was one of the main things that was actually working and was actually bringing leads in for them. Now, once we knew that it was bringing the leads in, then all we had to do was work on the conversions. So think about your advertising, think about where you're spending your money, and think about what's working for you and what's not working for you. Unfortunately, too many people continue to spend money time after time after time on the things that don't work. And then, of course, they'll say advertising doesn't work, or advertising doesn't work for them. And the truth is, it's just that they're not measuring it correctly and don't know how to pivot from one media to another media to make sure that their spend is actually working for them. We talk to you all about that in the Toolbox. We teach you all of that in the Toolbox. Take a look at it, www.jdewan.com/toolbox. You get a raft of training on all aspects of marketing your business.